What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL, and I'm here with a Netflix movie review. Today, we're going to be talking about Slumberland. This film came out a couple of weeks ago. Um, Now, I'm sure there's some of you that are a bit confused about why I'm reviewing this movie specifically. I'm sure there's a lot of you that didn't even know this movie existed unless you are a hardcore Netflix watcher. Um, yeah, because Netflix is not the best at marketing their shows or movies, but there's a couple reasons why I want to talk about this film. For one thing, I'm a Jason Momoa fan. I'm really liking him as an actor over the past few years, and I really enjoy him as Aquaman in the DCU. So I was interested to see how he would handle this type of movie because it seems like he's going to be in a more comedic, family-friendly type of role. So I was interested to see how he'll do with that. And another reason is that I'm actually familiar with the source material that this movie's based off of. This is based on a very old comic that came out, I think, in the early 1900s called Little Nemo and Adventures in Slumberland. I think it was written by Winsor McKay. It's a really, really good fantasy comic. If you guys just so happen to find this comic, I don't know how available it is nowadays. I think it's probably pretty rare, especially finding the original comic print. But if you do happen to find this comic, I do recommend you guys read it. I do think it's a really, really good adventure comic. Um, but I'm also a fan. I'm sure a lot of you probably didn't even know about this movie. This came out in 1989, actually. There was an anime movie that was based on the comic, also called Little Nemo, Adventures in Slumberland. Um, that was one of my favorite animated movies to watch as a kid. So I do have a bit of nostalgia for this property. So I was interested to see how Netflix would adapt this source material because I do think this is a really good property for them to adapt for modern times. I do think this is a really good story that kids and families could enjoy. So I was interested to see how Netflix would adapt this, and especially seeing how Jason Momoa would fit in all of it. And overall, I thought the movie was fine. Yeah, it was fine. I don't think it's bad at all. I do think it's a very serviceable adventure movie, adventure fantasy. I do think it's a really, and it's an enjoyable, kids film. I think families could enjoy it, but overall, I didn't think there was anything really that innovative about this. It felt very straightforward, pretty basic. It didn't really move the needle as far as really, really creative fantasy films, but it's a solid film overall. What I will say, Jason Momoa, as this character Flip, um, I thought he was really, really good. I didn't know what to expect with him playing this role. Because we're used to seeing Jason Momoa as an action star, as the badass, but it was just nice to see him be in a more comedic role. If you see him in interviews in real life, like you could tell, like he's a funny guy. I mean, yes, he's very masculine, he's very manly, he's very attractive. I'm sure a lot of women, flawed over him, but he you could tell that he's a jokester. He likes to have fun. He seems to be the life of the party, and that was definitely reflected with his Flip character. I definitely thought he was probably the best character in the movie, to be honest. Like, he brought a lot of life to the film. I also liked Marlo Barkley as Nemo. I thought she was really good too. She's looking to be one of the better child actors I've seen over the past few years, and definitely her chemistry that she has with Jason Momoa, I thought was really, really good. Whenever these two work off of each other, or when they're going through these different dream scenarios, and how they're working together as a team, definitely helped carry the movie for sure. Um, Nemo's character also is followed around by this stuffed pig. like this stuffed toy that's a pig that comes to life. The pig was cute. The pig was cute. I'll admit that. Um, Kyle Chandler playing Nemo's dad, I thought he was really good. The overall plot of this movie was based around him that Nemo and his dad lived at a lighthouse, and his dad goes off to sea to answer a distress call, I think, and then he gets lost at sea, and it's unclear whether he died or he's just lost. Um, but Nemo tries to go to Slumberland and find these magic pearls that I guess is supposed to grant wishes to people. Because these are the stories that his dad would tell her, about Slumberland and Flip and stuff like that. That's how she'll know about it. And so she's going to use the pearls to bring her dad back. And so that's pretty much the whole adventure there. And while her dad is disappeared, she ends up staying with her uncle, played by Chris O'Dowd, who I thought was pretty solid as well. Pretty much the exact opposite of her dad, because he's all about his work. He doesn't really dream that much. He's not the most creative, So we've seen that type of dynamic before. But I thought it was charming in this overall. But honestly, what's keeping this from being like a great movie or something that's very memorable to me is that I guess it just goes back to the source material. Like this barely feels like the original comic. You know, like it felt like something completely different. Like I don't know why they deviated so much from this. Like it didn't even need to be a Slumberland story. Now, am I expecting it to be exactly like the comic or exactly like the anime? No, but like it just felt so unrecognizable, and other than like some of the names that they use, and there's a couple of visual cues from the comic that they use, but like overall it just felt like a completely different story. um Visually, I did think it was cool to watch. Whenever they are in Slumberland or whenever when there are dream sequences, I thought visually it was handled pretty well. The special effects actually hold up really, really good too, and that was something I was worried about because when it comes to Netflix films in general, it's like hit or miss when it comes to the effects. Sometimes they're pretty really good, and there's other times where like they could use some work. But for the most part, when it comes to the visuals in this movie, it actually was really good. And there's a lot of times where they're walking in a green screen, and it didn't feel like I was watching them in a green screen. So that's one positive I can give to it. Um, there, as I said, there are some names and visual sequences that do slightly resemble the comic, like the walking bed with the long legs, and of course Flip is a character from the comic that Jason Momoa is playing, so that's it. And then the nightmare um, gas creature that's also a character from the comic. But that's pretty much it. Everything else felt like something completely different. Like the world of Slumberland doesn't actually look or feel anything like the original Slumberland. Like it almost felt like stuff that I've seen from some of the more modern live action Disney movies, like A Wrinkle in Time and Artemis Fowl and Nutcracker in the Four Realms, which I'm sure a lot of you are hearing me say that, and it doesn't seem like a good sign. But like, I don't think this movie is as bad as those films. But as far as like the visuals and like just like the the designs of Slumberland, it felt as generic as that to me. I thought they could have been a little bit more creative when it came to the Slumberland stuff. Even though it was visually, it looked really nice, but like as far as designs and and like costumes and stuff like that, it just felt pretty generic to me. Um, and then like another thing that bothered me was like the overall antagonists of, well, I guess you could say antagonists because they weren't really villains. Like there's dream police in this. Like there's actually like an organization that like that police's dreams. Like, it felt very similar to like the Time Variance Authority in the Loki show for for Marvel. Um, and I just that it made no sense for them to put in dream police. Like, why would there be dream police? It's dreams. Anything should go. You know, it just made no sense for them to add that element. I think they just needed something to like, I guess to for them to be an obstacle for Nemo and Flip in the movie, but like there was already an obstacle, and it was the nightmare. Like that should have been the main antagonist of the movie. And but speaking of that, like the nightmare thing, once again, it didn't really. It slightly resembled the original source material, but not exactly. Like instead of it being like this black scary goop, it's like this gas tentacled squid thing, and that felt pretty generic as well. I don't know. I wish there was more of a presence with the nightmare stuff. Like, not to say that like it's not it's not important to the story, but as far as it being a presence and an ominous figure, like I thought they could have done a little bit more with that, to be honest. And then with Nemo, um, I was confused of why they had Marlo Barkley's character be Nemo. I mean, because not that I don't have a problem with a female being Nemo in this story, because like in the original comic it was a young boy called Nemo, because that's what the story was based off of. So it was a little boy called Nemo, and he goes to Slumberland. But I don't have a problem with them making Nemo a girl, but like I felt like there was a missed opportunity with having her dad be Nemo, because her dad talks about you know um, his adventures in Slumberland with Flip. So it almost seemed like they wanted to tell a story about when boy Nemo grows up and has a kid, and he tells the stories to his kid, and then she ends up going on adventures with Flip. I wish they would have done that instead of making her Nemo, because I didn't think they really did much for her character, to be honest. And I think it would have added a little bit more to Kyle Chandler's character if he was Nemo. If he grown up and then he had kids, I think that would have been a more interesting dynamic. But they didn't decide to do that. So I don't know. Overall, I thought it was a serviceable, fantasy film. It's nothing offensive. It's not really bad. It's just fine. I don't think this is a super memorable movie, to be honest. But there were some cool stuff in it. As I said, the dream sequences I thought was really, really good for what they were going for, even though it didn't really feel like the actual Slumberland from the original comic. But it still visually was cool. Jason Momoa was fun to watch. As a Flip character, even though he, what I do think he acted very similar to the Flip character from the comic, but visually he also didn't look anything like the Flip from the original comic. Like, he's supposed to resemble almost like a clown, but he's just like this dirty guy with a trench coat and horns on his head. I don't know why they went with that creative choice, but it's whatever, I guess. Jason does the best with what he's given. But overall, I still thought he was entertaining to watch, along with, Nemo. I thought, Marlo Barkley was really good in this film, and the chemistry that she had with Jason was pretty good. But if you have kids, I think this is a serviceable movie for them to watch. A good movie to watch with the whole family. But like, if you're expecting something really innovative when it comes to the fantasy genre, and especially if you're a fan of the original Little Nemo source material, I think you probably be slightly disappointed with this. Just in my opinion, because I was slightly disappointed with it. There could have been some more interesting stuff they could have done with the film in general if they leaned more to the original comic or the anime. So overall, I will give Slumberland a C. yeah, it's an average movie. It's completely fine, but nothing great, but nothing horrible either. It's fine. But that's how I feel about Slumberland. What did you guys think about it? If you guys have seen it, did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. If you've enjoyed this review, please leave a thumbs up. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's a lot of you that are watching my videos and are not subscribed. If you've watched 3 or more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel because you're gonna watch more. But yeah, I appreciate the subscription, and if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing, hit the bell while you're at it. But that's all I have for you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.